From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
But I have enjoyed working with all of you. That does not, of course, mean that I've enjoyed every story that you have filed, but that's the point of this relationship.
Jokes, hopes, and future plans. President Obama takes the podium one last time as president. Meanwhile, a former president and his wife are both in the hospital. The latest on the elder Bush's conditions. Plus, police shoot a dog wanted for mauling 3 kids in Georgia. Details on the charges, and the family still grieving from Tuesday's deadly attack.
And we saw a pretty nice day in southern Colorado. We're going to get another one on Thursday, but already tracking some new weather moving in. All the details and your full forecast coming up.
Thanks for choosing KRDO News Channel 13 at 4 o'clock. I'm Bart Bedsole. Heather Scold has the day off. President Obama held his last news conference today while still in office. He answered a wide range of questions from reporters for about an hour. Before taking questions, a message for former President George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush, both in the hospital.
We want to send our prayers and our love to them.
Then President Obama got down to business.
First of all, let's be clear. Chelsea Manning has served a tough prison sentence.
The president calling his decision appropriate, responding to Republicans slamming him for commuting the 35-year sentence of Manning, the former Army intelligence officer convicted of releasing U.S. secrets to WikiLeaks.
I feel very comfortable that justice has been served.
The questions then moved on to Russia and the growing tension surrounding the transfer of power, with at least 60 Democrats now boycotting the inauguration.
I'm not going to comment on those issues. All I know is I'm going to be there. So is Michelle.
Obama is leaving office on a high note. A new ABC News Washington Post poll shows 60% of Americans approve of his job performance. And on this day, his parting message to the nation.
I think we're going to be okay. We just have to fight for it. We have to work for it and not take it for granted. And I know that you will help us do that.
And in what many are calling a not-so-subtle jab at his successor, Donald Trump, President Obama told reporters to continue to ask tough questions and push those in power to get to the bottom of stories. Former President George H.W. Bush and his wife, as you heard, are both hospitalized tonight. President Bush was admitted to intensive care at the Methodist Hospital in Houston to address respiratory problems stemming from pneumonia. Doctors performed a procedure to protect and clear his airway. Barbara Bush was also admitted this morning as a precaution after experiencing fatigue and coughing. Bush, who served a single term from 1989 to 1993, was already not expected to attend the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump in Washington on Friday due to his ongoing health concerns. He instead sent this letter to the President-elect on January 10th, apologizing for missing the ceremony and saying that he and Barbara wish you the very best as you begin this incredible journey of leading our great country. More than 50 Democrats in Congress have now announced they plan to boycott Friday's inauguration. They say the boycott is in protest of Trump's policies and repeated criticism of this man, civil rights activist John Lewis. But Republicans say they're just sore losers who need to accept the election results and move on. In Colorado Springs Tuesday, Republican Congressman Doug Lamborn agreed.
The Democrats who somehow think that they don't have to work with Mr. Trump have a lesson coming to them. They're going to have to work with the President of the United States. I want to work with them, and we'll do our best to help our country, but they're going to have to work with Donald Trump sooner or later.
Lamborn acknowledged that Trump is a controversial figure, but plans to attend the inauguration and supports most of Trump's ideas for the future of the country. Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States on Friday. Here's what you need to know. The ceremony is scheduled to start at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence will participate in the traditional inaugural parade that is scheduled to start that afternoon. And we will have complete coverage of Donald Trump's presidential inauguration. Don't miss a special edition of Good Morning America, then live coverage along the parade route, and we will bring you several inauguration-related events right here in southern Colorado. Our all-day coverage begins Friday morning. In light of some of Trump's prior comments on race and religion, one southern Colorado educational institution is trying to encourage students to discuss civil rights in America. Pikes Peak Community College faculty and students held a table of brotherhood discussion today as part of a week of events recognizing Martin Luther King Jr. The executive director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at PPCC says it's important to continue discussing civil rights because it's still applicable. He says it's especially important to be tolerant of other people's ideas.
I think we need to get outside of our box and really understand where the other person's point of view or what their point of view is, and then learn from that and try to build this thing that today we're calling brotherhood.
Barnes stresses getting out of your comfort zone and having discussions on civil rights with people from different communities. The Women's March on Washington could be one of the largest demonstrations in the nation's capital. On Saturday, thousands of people will channel their election night disappointment into a political demonstration. A group from Fort Collins is making their way to Washington, D.C., and along for the ride is 14-year-old Maria Pedden.
I'm just excited to connect with thousands of women who feel the same way as I do.
The march doesn't end in Washington. More than 270 sister marches will happen at the same time in all 50 states and 33 countries. A march in Denver is slated to take place on Saturday. Demonstrators there will march around the state capitol and Civic Center Park. The El Paso County Democratic Party has arranged a bus from Colorado Springs to Denver. That bus leaves at 7 a.m. from the group's office on East Rio Grande Street. It'll leave Denver and return at 1 p.m. Sunshine and wonderful weather in southern Colorado today once again. Here is a live look from Prowers County here in Lamar, and a bit of melting still to be done there in Prowers County. The rest of us, meanwhile, not seeing a whole lot of snow left around the area. Storm Tracker 13's Mike Everett tracking this nice sunny day. Mike?
Hey, Bart, we got a pair of these as a nice ridge of high pressure has built in. We were checking some of that fog. In fact, there was a dense fog advisory in the early morning hours along the Arkansas River Valley, but cleaned up and cleared up nicely. Got a gorgeous shot in on our Facebook page. Beautiful morning to see the Spanish Peaks. This was about 10:30. Lots of blue sky out there, and a lot of that haze that we saw yesterday lifting up and out of the atmosphere. A lot of us got a chance to see a really nice day out there. Live HD Doppler radar telling you the story. I'm tracking absolutely zero, zip, nada across the region. Even up in the high country, folks getting a nice day to kind of clear up and clear out there after all that weather we've had recently. Temperatures warmed up nicely today. 47 at the airport in the Springs, 46 in Pueblo. A little bit cooler out towards the eastern plains. 38 in Lamar, 37 La Junta. A nice booming 49 in Springfield. Even 40 in Salida, 33 in Leadville. Congratulations. 44 in Briargate, 42 in Black Forest. Nice 48 in Peyton. Even 44 in Woodland Park. Cool 38 in the shade in Manitou. 51 in P-Dubs, 52 in Colorado City. And way down south, 45 in Trinidad, 41 Walsenburg. Cool 21 in the Levita Pass, 34 at the Sand Dunes. You even have some nice calm winds to tell you about. Lamar and La Junta, nice and calm out there. Bit of a breeze coming up from the south in Springfield at 15 miles an hour. Southern breeze in the Springs right now as well. 8 in Pueblo, 4 in Canyon City, 9 in Salida, 8 in Alamosa. But we're southern Colorado. You know this can't last very long. Beautiful ridge of high pressure, but that will start to close down as we track this next weather maker that's hammering California. Yet once again, I've got all the details on when it arrives here coming up. Bart, back to you.
Mike, thanks. New information today on the bomb threat made on a flight headed to Denver International Airport. A 20-year-old man faces charges after he wrote a note claiming there was a bomb on the flight. The FBI says Cameron Korth was arrested and charged with maliciously conveying false information after that note was found on the flight from San Diego. Korth is due to make an appearance in federal court this afternoon. He could be sentenced up to 10 years in federal prison and fined up to $250,000. Detectives in Pueblo County need help finding a missing man from Boone. Here he is. Ian Wilcoxon was last heard from January 4th. The 24-year-old also lives part-time in Texas, but his family there hasn't heard from him either. If you know his whereabouts, call the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office at 719-583-6250. Colorado Springs police are searching for a group of men they believe were involved in 2 armed robberies earlier today. The first happened this morning at a convenience store on Hancock Expressway. Witnesses told police that 4 men entered the store and demanded cash. One of them was armed with a knife. The second happened just a half an hour later at a convenience store on Source Center Point. Police say that a group of men there entered the store carrying weapons and demanded money, cigarettes, and liquor. So far, no arrests have been made. If you have any information that may help investigators, you're asked to call Colorado Springs Police. New at 4 on KRDO News Channel 13. DAS Aviation in Pueblo is receiving a $290 million contract for Air Force flight training at Pueblo Memorial Airport. City officials, PEDCO, and others have been in talks for months to keep the DAS contract. It was originally awarded to them back in 2005. Denver is working to become the first city in the nation to allow marijuana clubs and public pot use in places such as coffee shops, yoga studios, and art galleries. Last November, voters narrowly approved the measure allowing marijuana clubs and public pot use, but the measure didn't spell out any specific rules beyond saying that the drug can't be smoked inside and patrons must be over 21. Today, a meeting made up of business owners, city pot regulators, and marijuana opponents took place, suggesting possible regulations. There's no deadline for Denver to finalize those rules. Outrage at Oklahoma State University after a social media post depicts two students in blackface. Now, OSU officials are responding what they say is being done about the incident. Also ahead, shocking video surfacing out of Minnesota of a frozen waterfall. Why officials there hope it will remind people to stay away.
And especially not to crawl inside the frozen waterfall. Here's a gorgeous shot from Pueblo. Seeing some of that high cloud cover, but a very nice sunset setting up. We're going to warm it up just a skosh on Thursday, but I am tracking some changes going into the weekend. Details, of course, are coming up. Hopefully you got a chance to get out and enjoy Southern Colorado today. Wasn't a perfect clear blue day. Earlier this morning it was in the Pikes Peak region. Seeing some of that cloud cover building in right now near I-25 in Woodman, courtesy of our American Storage Neighborhood Weather Network camera. 45 degrees and calm out there. And this just in, Pikes Peak still there, still gorgeous. Going to see a very nice sunset here coming up within about the next hour or so. Live HD Doppler radar looking good in every direction. Nice to be able to say that we're not tracking anything here, although we are seeing some new weather moving in this weekend. If you do want to get out this evening, well, it will cool off, but not drastically. Looks like we're going to get into the 30s and even some 20s by a little bit later tonight. So you definitely want to wear the hat and scarf if you're taking the dog out for a walk or just taking yourself out for a walk. Looking in the big picture here, we are tracking some weather that is moving up through the eastern side of Texas there in towards Memphis. But right now our focus is on California. Yet another storm, not just coming in and bringing a little little bit of rain, but just hammering the entire state into Oregon as well, and bringing even more snow to the Tahoe and Sierra Nevadas. Yeah, it's a very, very good winter out there, but again, a little bit too much. Overnight lows tonight will be dipping back into the 20s for most of us. We will see some teens out towards Lamar, 22 in Springfield. 22 seems to be our popular number in La Junta and Pueblo, 27 in the Springs, 28 in Canyon City. Look for 26 in Walsenburg, 23 in Trinidad, and yeah, more single digits with those clear skies up in Gunnison, and 5 tonight in Alamosa. Putting SkyCast into motion here, we will see some of that cloud cover out towards the eastern plains here towards Lamar and Springfield. Expecting that to actually build a little bit as we go through the later hours tonight, but for the most part, Thursday will start off very, very nice for most of us along the I-25 corridor and even up into the high country. Alamosa, you don't seem to be able to get rid of that cloud cover. It's just kind of stuck there in the valley. Looks like you're going to stay that way throughout the day. As we go through Thursday and into Thursday evening, you see it already, a new round of snow coming into the high country. SkyCast wants to bring it over top of us. So far, it looks like it's going to come in as that rain-snow mix, very similar to what we saw last weekend here. So accumulations don't look particularly impressive right now, but of course, if that changes, we'll let you know. Look for 27 overnight tonight in the Springs, mostly clear skies and cool conditions. Northwest breeze about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to take that up to 53 on Thursday. So if you didn't get a chance to get out and enjoy, you'll have another chance tomorrow. Cloud cover will build in a bit later there. Should be very nice in the morning. 55 in Pueblo. You're going to see more sun and a touch warmer than it was today. West-northwest breeze about 2 to 7 miles an hour. We're talking about a very pleasant day. Across the region, look for lots of 40s and 50s. 49 in Lamar, 53 in the Springs, 55 there in Pueblo, 54 Canyon City, and even the high country. 35 in Leadville, 28 in Gunny. We'll zoom that in a little bit, show you 53 in Pueblo West, 51 in Boone, 48 in Calhoun, 52 in Ellicott, 53 in Hanover. As we approach the weekend here, you saw on SkyCast that we will be tracking some showers moving across the region here. Looks like the very early morning hours of Friday. And again, so far it looks like it's coming in a bit warm and a bit wet. So yeah, I'm not really looking for a whole lot in the way of accumulation here. If anything changes with that temperature gradient, we'll let you know. And then as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, that one looks a little bit more impressive in terms of seeing some more robust weather. Pueblo, 55 for you on Thursday, like we discussed there. We'll pull you back into the mid to upper 40s there Friday and Saturday. Light flurries in the forecast for you as well. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, another round coming. Canyon City, 54 on Thursday, 45 on Friday, 43 on Saturday. Some flurry chances for you as well, and Tuesday coming up there, you'll be back in the 30s. Teller County, 45 on Thursday, but as we saw with SkyCast there, looks like you see the possibility of some flurries moving in there late. I'm not really impressed with what I'm seeing up there as well, but as always, we'll be on top of that, keeping you ahead of this storm, and if anything changes, including the possibility of some accumulating snowfall, we'll let you know.
Hopefully nothing too treacherous. All right, Mike, we'll keep it to that. Thank you very much. Officials in Minnesota hope a video of a frozen waterfall collapse can serve as a reminder for visitors to stay away. Take a look.
Oh my God!
A large piece of the frozen waterfall broke away, nearly crushing a crowd of people beneath. The spot is popular for hikers, but hikers have to climb over a sign that says no trespassing in order to get there. While one family says they know it's dangerous and illegal, the warning didn't deter them from getting a good look at the amazing view.
No. Well, it scared us from trying to go behind the falls, but not from just going down and getting great pictures.
Officials say anyone who is caught could face a citation and be arrested. We are following the latest on a deadly pit bull attack out of Georgia. Coming up after the break, find out what charges the owner will face. Also ahead, reaction after a social media post shows 2 Oklahoma State University students in blackface. Why one student says it's an outrage. Today we're hearing from family members of the children viciously attacked by dogs. One boy died and one girl remains in the hospital. We're also learning the charges the owner of the dogs faces after one of his animals was shot. Megan Packer reports.
This video you'll see only on CBS 46 shows a police officer opening fire on one of the dogs involved in a deadly attack. The dog runs away, hit. Animal Services later had both dogs locked up. The attack happened as the children were walking to the bus stop in this southwest Atlanta neighborhood.
So I just heard a lot of screaming, "Mom!" and screaming and screaming.
Tamika Williams was among the adults who went running out to see what was happening and saw the children scatter. She says she saw a dog mauling her 5-year-old great niece, Sarai Sanders.
You know, my neighbor next door, she kept slinging a stick, but the dog just actually kept coming, just kept coming.
Adults used sticks and bats to try to get the dogs away, but the animals were relentless.
And then the dogs were just still chasing like everybody. It was nothing we can do because they kept coming back, kept coming back.
Williams says her great niece was alert but badly injured. Logan Bratz was not as fortunate. He did not survive. Bryant Bratz says his grandson just turned 6.
Oh, very outgoing. He was the kindest soul you'd ever meet. He'd do anything for any other little kid.
Police arrested the dog's owner and charged Cameron Tucker with 2 counts of reckless conduct.
I can say I forgive him, but it's a shame that you got to raise rough, mean dogs that do such things.
I just wanted to know why they was loosing and why they wasn't in the yard, that's all.
2 families' lives changed in an instant.
Outrage at Oklahoma State University after a social media post surfaced of 2 students with what appeared to be painted in blackface on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The school says it has identified the 4 students in the post, and it will talk to them about the ramifications and take disciplinary action if necessary. In the meantime, students at the campus say something like this shouldn't be taken lightly.
So you're not really celebrating anything. You're not doing anything to get a positive response. You're doing it like basically for a negative response. We're supposed to be a school of diversity and stuff, and like basically we're all supposed to be one. We're all supposed to be cowboys, and you're doing something that divides the cowboys, and it's just like, why?
OSU officials have not said for certain if its students will face punishments. Central Italy was shaken at the core after a series of earthquakes. Up next, a look at the damage left behind. Also ahead, Chelsea Manning may have just had her sentence commuted, but another infamous whistleblower is still on the run. Find out how much longer Edward Snowden may remain in Russia.
All right, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 on backpack 3. Mic check 1 2. Oh, that's hot. Yeah. All right, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 on backpack 3. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 on backpack 3. Mic check 1 2 on backpack 3.
Italy was hit by 4 earthquakes in 4 hours today. The U.S. Geological Survey says the first quake hit north of Amatrice with a magnitude of 5.3, but the strongest clocked in at 5.7. So far, there are no reports of casualties or serious damage, but emergency crews say heavy snow is blocking roads and hampering the initial assessment. As tensions continue escalating between Russia and the U.S., the Kremlin has announced that Edward Snowden was granted an extension of his asylum. Snowden has been living in exile in Russia since 2013 after leaking state secrets about U.S. spying. Officials at the Kremlin say this extension will last for, quote, a couple of years. Archaeologists in eastern China have made a big discovery there. This Buddha statue has sat undisturbed in a reservoir for hundreds of years and finally appeared when water levels dropped. Archaeologists say the statue dates back to China's Ming Dynasty. Remnants of a temple have also been found below the water. A push to boost background checks in the medical field. Coming up first at 4:30, KRDO News Channel 13's Angelica Lombardi is live on why there's this new call for action. Plus, a proposed franchise fee could hike up cable customers' bills in Colorado Springs, why some city officials say the service will help. And she learned she was kidnapped at birth, living her entire life without her real family. Now she speaks exclusively to ABC News.
And Steven sending in this gorgeous photo that he got from Trinidad. Blue skies, white snow. Looks like we have the opportunity to see more of that stuff moving in starting on Thursday night. We'll talk about all the details coming up.
Thank God you were here. Mic check, sorry, I just got here. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. We are live outside Memorial Hospital.